I'm Paul Perkins with the check of your ag weather. With a strong ridge of high pressure overhead, highs that are 20 to 25 degrees warmer than normal in the 80s, continuing all the way through Thursday. Critical fire weather conditions remain possible through Thursday with southwest wind gusts of 35 to 45 and humidity dropping below 20%. Rain and a few thunderstorms are possible by Thursday night, just ahead of low pressure over eastern Colorado. Highs dropping back into the 60s to the low 70s on Friday. Chances for rain and thunderstorms return for Friday afternoon through Friday night as that area of low pressure lifts to the northeast. Temperatures in the 30s to the low 40s for Friday night may result in a few slushy snowflakes. On the backside of the departing area of low pressure, a few showers remain possible on Saturday. Total rain amounts through Sunday morning expected to range from trace amounts in the west to a half an inch in the east. Saturday, our coolest day of the next 7 with highs in the 50s. Near critical fire weather concerns are back for Sunday through next Tuesday as the highs warm back into the mid-60s to the mid-70s. In the long-term forecast, Nebraska and Kansas temperatures start out slightly cooler than normal the early half of next week. Late next week through April 24th, most of Nebraska's temperatures are indicated to be seasonal, while southwest Nebraska and all of Kansas will be slightly warmer than normal. The early half of next week, Nebraska and Kansas are drier than normal before a trend to near normal rainfall late next week through April 24th. Checking the soil temperatures, 4 inches down at 7 this morning. Soil temperatures are as cool as the low 40s along and west of a line from O'Neill to Ord, Lexington, and McCook. The rest of central and eastern Nebraska and the western half of Kansas with soil temperatures in the mid to upper 40s. Low 50s for soil temperatures are found in much of eastern Kansas. Key weather factors affecting the markets include several warm and dry days in the U.S., the impacts of snow melt in the northern plains, and the rain outlook in central Brazil. Over the next few days, warmer than normal and mostly dry weather prevails in much of the U.S. The second half of this week, a cold front pushing in from the Pacific Northwest to the upper Midwest generates scattered rain and snow. Amounts will be mostly light, although precipitation could locally total an inch or more in the upper Midwest. Cool weather trails the cold front. In the northern plains, the cooler air later this week and weekend, slowing down some of the recent flooding before another warm period next week increases the melting of the snowpack. Northern plains flooding, not favorable, but the high amounts of water in the snowpack are needed before field work. Warm and dry weather continues late in the week from the eastern core belt on into the northeast U.S. Heavy rain returns by midweek across the central Gulf Coast and gradually spreads to the east. For the central and southern plains, any rain this week likely to be spotty, but could be significant in some locations. The better chance of rain is Friday through Saturday, but mostly towards the central plains. Dry conditions remain a concern for southern plains wheat, and the strong winds this week likely to decrease the soil moisture even more. Central Brazil rains continue this early week before more rain late this week and weekend. For now, the rains are providing the needed moisture for central Brazil's developing second crop corn, a pattern that needs to continue for the late planted crop. In the Black Sea region, rains this past weekend continue for the next week with mild temperatures. Growing conditions mostly favorable across the Black Sea region, but some areas may be a bit too wet and cool to plant corn. I'm Paul Perkins. That's a check of your ag weather.